Now, I want to talk to you about compact digital cameras and Canon's ubiquitous Ixus. Canon likes to think that the Ixus range has iconic status in the gadget world. At a recent Canon event I attended, they promoted it alongside such design classics as the VW Beetle and the Coke bottle. Frankly, I think Canon's getting ideas above its station. There's no way that the Ixus is distinctive enough to be iconic. In fact, you can't even tell what isn't unless you're close enough to read the writing. One thing that's not in doubt, though, is the success of the Ixus brand. It's the undoubted market leader in Britain, and they've sold 33 million of them since the first one was launched 10 years ago. But is that success deserved? To find out, I decided to test the very latest flagship Ixus against its top rivals from Sony and Fuji.
The Ixus 900 Ti has no less than 10 megapixels and a titanium body that's supposed to be great to hold thanks to its perpetual curve shape. It also boasts face detection technology, which claims to adjust exposure and focus for the faces in your frame automatically. Sony's offering in this market is the DSC-N2. It's more chunky to look at, though no bigger than the Ixus. It also has 10 megapixels and has image stabilization, and a nice big touch-controlled LCD. Finally, the Fuji, and their brand new F31. This is an upgrade of the highly praised F30, the only major difference being the addition of face detection technology. Though Fuji haven't succumbed to the megapixel race, their sensor is still 6.3 megapixels. To test out the cameras, I'm going on 3 photo assignments, taking pictures for 3 imaginary magazines. First, I've come to London to the premiere of Jackass 2 to take the sorts of pictures you'd see in a celebrity gossip magazine.
And what better place to test out how easy the cameras are to use than here in the thick of the press pen? Laura?
First up, the Fuji, which proved really quick and responsive. Perfect for point-and-shoot photography. I didn't have to worry about turning the flash on and off, as the camera did it all for me. Which meant that my pictures of BAM were great. No faffing around here.
Thank you.
The Sony was a bit slower than the Fuji in the hustle and bustle of the press pen, and annoyingly the LCD touchscreen didn't always react, so I missed some of the action. Another major problem was the gloominess of the photographs. I did manage to take a brighter one, using the flash generated by the other photographers. The Canon was the slowest of the 3, and a lot of the shots were out of focus.
Apparently, that's a bloke from Celebrity Love Island, apparently, looking in the wrong direction by the time my camera went off. It just takes so long to respond. People have actually turned away in the second it takes to think about it and bounces flash and God knows what. It's hopeless.
However, I did manage to get some half-decent pictures of Johnny Knoxville and co, but only because they stood long enough for me to hold the shutter down and hope. So after an evening battling with the professionals for pictures, the Fuji was definitely the easiest to use. My next assignment was for an imaginary bike mag at the motorcycle show at the NEC in Birmingham.
Compact cameras often can't cope very well with fast-moving action. So let's see how these cope with the speed and excitement of the Thunderdome Arena.
Shooting the stunt show was doubly difficult because it was so dark in the arena. With small lenses and weak flashes, compacts have never been that great in low light. But all our cameras claim to reduce this problem with newfangled high sensitivity settings. We shall see. Again, the Canon was slow and missed a lot of the action. The autofocus and flash struggled in the low light, and the pictures were dark. And when I increased the sensitivity settings, I ended up with lots of noise in the picture. The Sony wasn't much better.
Trying to get action in these gloomy conditions with this Sony is hopeless. When you put it on the high sensitivity setting, the flash won't fire because it won't let you use it. And on auto with the flash is just too weedy to light anything up. Dark.
And the shutter lag was so bad that I had to press the button right at the start of the ramp to catch the bike in mid-air, which worked just the once. In these hard conditions, only the Fuji came close to capturing the action like a proper SLR camera would do. It was better equipped to deal with the Thunderdome's low light, and the shots were the brightest and least blurred. So far, the Fuji has proved itself as the easiest camera to use and the best performer while shooting action in low light. On to my last test.
For my final assignment, I'll be concentrating on picture quality. It's a fashion shoot with one of this year's Big Brother finalists, Ashleen. Nearly ready. Ooh, that's a good look.
Ashleen is kindly striking some poses for me while I take photographs with each of the cameras, with and without flash, to test brightness, colour saturation and red eye.
What would you normally do? You'd probably do something like...
jump up on there.
Oh, yes, brilliant. Yes, excellent.
Then I'm heading back to the studio with the results to see what Jason and Susie think.
Ooh. Ooh. Good to meet you. Jolly good. Great.
What I've done is I've put 3 shots from each camera up here on the wall, with mystery numbers attached.
Okay.
And I'd like you to have a good look at them and see which ones you think's best. There's available light and flash shots amongst them, so go ahead. Have a look.
Okay, thank you.
It's a bit soft there, but that's available light, so I suppose you would expect that a little bit inside.
So number 2, well, these are...
Dreadful. It's like a security camera picture. It's really pixelated.
It's really not very good, is it? Very soft. If that was my camera, I really wouldn't be happy with any of those shots. Number 3. Okay, well, these are better than number 2. Terrible red eye on that.
So, have you reached a verdict?
Yeah, I think we have.
Yeah.
We'll start with the worst.
Yeah.
We think he's number 2 by a long stretch, because they're dark, flat, there's no focus, red eye, everything you don't want in a compact camera. We don't like that one.
I wouldn't disagree with that. The surprise is that number 2 is the would-be icon, the Canon.
No.
What was your next place?
Second place, we put number 3. Better pictures than number 2, but still the balance of exposure we didn't think was quite right, and you'd still got that red eye. A little bit soft in areas.
But better.
But better, yeah.
That was the Sony,
So our favourite was, indeed, number 1.
which is obviously the Fuji. What do you like about it?
Well, I like the fact, there are 2 pictures there that you wouldn't actually double take at if they were in someone's portfolio. I mean, this one here looks like a kind of standard shot, doesn't it? Which for a camera that's a couple £100 is extremely good. So the Fuji came out top in all 3 challenges, which I guess makes it our digital compact camera of choice.
Absolutely.
OK, what about the G ratings then? Can we start with the Canon first?
Yep, that has to be 2 Gs. It's unresponsive to use, the pictures don't look very good, they often doesn't focus correctly, and even when it does, they look a bit blurred, I think.
OK, 2 Gs for the Canon. What about the Sony?
Well, that's a good deal better, 3 Gs. You get, it can produce really quite good shots, although the balance of exposure, I think, is often a bit iffy, but it's much better than the Canon.
And finally, the winner, the Fuji?
It's not perfect, 4 Gs, but it's still a very, very good camera.